Hi, good morning. Please allow me to present to you today a pilot brain health program through which we co-develop with the community. We respectfully acknowledge the Muslim Squamish Sewatu Kazi Kwikalam Kakiat Kwantlen Semio Southwestern peoples on whose unceded territories our three campuses reside. The purpose of our study is to engage community-dwelling older adults, healthy community-dwelling adults, to assess an intervention framework and co-develop programs that address existing gaps in Burnaby and Vancouver with the goal of improving brain health. We know that there are many programs out there that are helpful for older adults brain training. And these are natural programs that are happening today in the community. And our question is, how can we increase the uptake of these activities and programs that are provided by the community and improve their quality to improve brain health in the community in a very natural way almost. So we reference this model called the psychosocial model of everyday cognitive resilience, which is being published now in the Gerontologist. It identifies the social identity as an important determinant of older adults' well-being as they experience cognitive decline in community settings. It is one that does not distinguish between preclinical and clinical dementia. It is one that follows the older adults through stages of cognitive decline. And with this model, we came up with three variables, three community and individual variables that are relevant. They are cohesion, at homeness, and playfulness. And these three variables, which we call CAP, has 9 factors altogether. And the question we ask our focus groups of older adults is which of these 9 factors are most relevant to protect brain health from your point of view, brain health defined in the older adults' understanding. And how are these needs being met and what interventions might be required? So this presentation summarizes what we found from these older adults. Focus groups were conducted with multiple organizations, and we used a citizen science approach. And by that, we mean one in which we prioritize the citizens, our focus group participants, as sources of knowledge, as co-researchers, as advancers of knowledge. And so we believe that they bring insights, and we requested, we sought their help to share the surveys with other and administer it online with other older adults in their community. This participatory focus research, so it's a partnership in the sense that the older adults are actively shaping the questions that are being asked in these surveys, and the researchers are coming alongside to provide analysis, which most older adults will not be able to do. And in this case, we're talking about path analysis, and we together engage in interpreting and drawing out implications from this discussions. So the analysis, the quantitative analysis, statistical analysis, path analysis were discussed in our second focus groups. We conducted 2 one-hour focus group sessions. The first one primarily helped to define the specific areas of discussion and the specific variables that are of interest for online surveys. So that's our 2 focus groups with 6 groups of older adults. In our first focus group session, we voted and discussed the most relevant CAP factors or variables. And in the second session, we discussed existing programs and brainstorm new solutions and how they may cater to older adults with different characteristics. So commonly discussed variables across the first focus groups in the first 6 focus groups were self-expression, time outdoors, and communal provisions. And these are part of social experiences and neighborhood friendship. And neighborhood friendship received a lot of attention from our older adults because they believe that is one of the crucial way for which they personally have continued to engage in their community. many talked about how aging is challenging because we experience loss of different kinds, and this pandemic has shown us all, regardless of our age, what it means like to lose opportunities for friendship. And imagine having some of this friendship or this social context that we have gone forever from our lives, and especially the ones that are close to us. And so that kind of loss or that kind of grief typically is difficult to get out of, and many older adults, as a result, um, have restricted life spaces and social networks. And so that leads to, from the point of view of the older adults, less engagement mentally, and perhaps some kind of rumination, which wasn't a variable that we discussed or used in our setting, but some kind of rumination over difficult emotions. And so to help us, or to help us across all ages or across all stages of cognitive decline continue engaging, we need to have opportunities to express ourselves. Spending time outdoors will found helpful as well, and having various resources or activities that we can be part of, for example a park or some kind of activity by the community centers that we can join, that will be helpful to maintain, to give meaning, to maintain an active, engaged mental life. So based on this commonly discussed variables, we came up with the idea of a social contact and volunteering opportunities as well. So these are some of the ideas that older adults came up with that were helpful to advance the landscape of seniors activity in BC. So our older adults are from all across BC, as you can see, and they are familiar. Many of them are familiar with the type of, or at least half of them, more than half of them are familiar with the types of activities that are available to older adults in BC. And so we were talking about this middle ground between developing deep friendships in which you can find the kind of emotional support to keep going, to give meaning to life and to continue to engage mentally, and the kind of casual contact. So we talk about one of the personalities that became important through our path analysis, as you would see hopefully later, is playfulness. And playfulness um, changes the kind of relationships that we found from path analysis. And so those adults who are more playful, or we can think about it as more extroverted, they are more likely to be happy in group settings, whereas some more introverted or less playful adults, or playful in a different way kind of older adults, they might prefer casual social contact just in activities of their interest, for example art. And so we were talking about the need for an in-between, and to develop medium deep friendship that will allow us to that will allow them to receive the kind of emotional support and beyond the casual incidental social contact. And so these are some of the variables that we discussed. I'm not sure if you can see on the upper right corner, but some words that came out quite a bit was common goals, belonging, meaningful goals, realizing our capacity, mutuality to contribute, intentionality. And these are all built on the 5 different variables that we discussed at the bottom. And so this is a path analytic model, and it's quite stylized, but there would be numbers to the lines that you see from the bottom to the top, and these numbers shows us that or these lines and the numbers that you don't see in this picture, the lines shows us that self-expression contributes to social experiences, and social experiences contribute to mental well-being. Time outdoors contribute to both social experiences and neighborhood friendship, and this contributes to mental well-being. Community provisions the same to both social experiences and neighborhood friendship, which then contributes to mental well-being. So in our community settings, social experiences and neighborhood friendships are important. And so we discussed what kind of active components do we require in this program that we are going to pilot, and it is one of listening and engaging one another in that mutuality or empathy. And our older adults talk about the generosity of spirit to hold one another in conversations. So these are for the examples of the things that we discussed in different groups. Again, activity meaning came up. So more older adults are from diverse backgrounds are aging in place in home and community settings. And one of the question that came up is also the need of bilingualism, which bilingual programs, which I didn't manage to talk about at the start. And when one of our Mandarin speaking focus groups, which is one of 6 focus groups that we conducted, this older adult very poignantly said in Mandarin, people don't live in a vacuum. And she was talking about the fact that we experience losses in life, which was probably the 3rd or 4th time we've heard that come up in different focus groups already. And that means that the programs that we develop need to recognize that these are persons in community. They are embedded in a network of people, and when they do come on board to different programs, they come on board either because they lose some people in their network and they are seeking out more networks, or they're seeking a meaningful activity through which they might possibly face some meet some friends that might keep them going and develop medium friendship. So medium friendship is one of their words in an English-speaking focus group. So we need to co-develop initiatives with older adults to and recognize also that they come from different communities with different kinds of activities that are already provided to complement these activities and to study them, their effectiveness in the in their natural settings, while advancing the neurological impact of these activities that are already out there in the community. And in so doing, we reduce service gaps and we recognize that people don't live in a vacuum. So our next step would be to develop a 4-week speed friending program. This will likely take the form of a book club from which more people can come and explore some of these difficult topics. We imagine that will be the best way forward. But of course, we are also finding a way to embed or to complement this program with other programs or activities that are happening in the community, such as art, or music, or dance, or horticulture, or nature immersion. This 4-week program is currently being discussed with a seniors council, or we call the Brain Health in Community Big Steering Committee, because yes, they do steer what we do. We want to thank all our partners and all our contributors, every 100 persons, 150 persons that responded to our online survey that led us to the path analysis and the discussions that we have. I wish I could share with you some of their pictures here, and I will do so if I had a chance in our live setting. These are some of our references. The forthcoming paper has the title Environmental Sources of Cognitive Resilience, Meta-ethnography, will be published in the Gerontologist. So there is great need for the research going forward, and we look forward to see what we will find together with our community partners. Thank you.